On today's show, Cooper Flagg made his official pre-draft visit to the Dallas Mavericks, and he did one thing that makes me really high on him as a draft prospect. I'll tell you what that is and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
Stop it! Stop! The number one pick will go to the Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flagg will fly in Dallas.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm gonna get a city like that.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Dallas Mavericks for 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. Joining me, as always, my co-host, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years, right alongside me, the Game 7 son, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Game 7, baby.
Nothing better.
Let's do it. Rick Carlisle, Pascal Siakam, conjure up something again. Do this thing. I was so happy for him. So fun, man. Love Game 7s. Obviously, I'm scared OKC's going to win. But even if I don't hate OKC, I like a small market and stuff winning. That's cool. But let's go Pacers. Game 7, Sunday night. This is what it's about in the NBA Finals.
Man, no better words in sports than a Game 7, I think. Just absolutely anything can happen.
And the league MVP, like the league MVP is in the finals. Like Game 7, he's having a great series. Like, this is like everything you could like sign up for. So I hate that there's some people missing it because it's not whatever, but it's like,
they're missing out. They're missing out.
It's good. It's good basketball. It's fun.
It's been great. I've enjoyed it. Yeah, let us know in the comments or let us know on social who you want to win. Can't imagine there's any Mavs fans that are like really pro OKC right now, but there may be some. But today's episode, we're gonna get into Cooper Flagg's visit to the Dallas Mavericks. We'll talk about some of the things that happened. We've got some reporting. We got some detailed reporting on some of the things that I find very fun. And then Sam Vecenie of The Athletic had a ranking where he ranked the best prospects from 2015 on, the ones that he's really dove into. We'll talk about where Cooper Flagg ranked in there. And then Jrue Holiday came up again as the Mavs have been asking about Jrue Holiday and connected to Jrue Holiday. So we'll talk about what that means and whether we would want the Mavs to even go after Jrue Holiday. But let's start here, Isaac Harris. Cooper Flagg made his official pre-draft visit. A lot of players are doing this. Everyone except for Ace Bailey apparently is doing these pre-draft visits. And they're going to meet these teams. And Cooper Flagg went and he met with a contingent of Nico Harrison. He met with Jason Kidd. He met with Michael Finley. He met with Rick Welts. And then some some future teammates, Mavs teammates, joined them for dinner. And they did it all up. He got to tour the American Airlines Center. He went and did a workout. And the workout part of it, to me, stood out because he doesn't have to do a whole workout and stuff. He doesn't even have to do this visit, honestly. Like, they already interviewed him at the Combine. It's already guaranteed. Like, the end of Mark Stein's piece when he was reporting about this, he said, a week from now, Cooper Flagg will be a Maverick. It's inevitable, right? Like, it's just an inevitability that he is going to be a Dallas Maverick. And Mark Stein reported this. He said, I'm told Flagg, not surprisingly, then insisted Wednesday on spending roughly an hour on the floor, showing off his skills to a much larger gathering of organizational representatives, and also not surprisingly made a very favorable first impression. And I find it amazing that at every turn, Cooper Flagg does the extra thing. He does the extra thing. He goes a little bit longer on the court. He goes off, and there's this video that I saw All Things Mavs repost today of him like working out, running sand dunes, and wanting to win running sand dunes and holding up this giant like WWE belt. And he just always goes the extra mile, always wants to do everything he possibly can. And that's the thing about him. The more that I read about him and hear from him and hear interviews and all that stuff, that's the thing that stands out to me, is that he always wants to do extra and do more. And we saw that in this pre-draft visit, even though it's like a simple thing.
Yeah, I mean, he has nothing to gain, right? Like, there's nothing there's nothing that he can gain by working out for him. And it's just purely, like, can you imagine them having the conversation with him and he's like, yeah, I want to get some shots up. Like, I want to get a workout in. And they're like, hey, this is just like a visit. Like, you don't. Hey,
we're gonna get heavy tonight.
Like, yeah, like, let's just introduce you to everybody. And he's like, no, I want to get a workout in. So, no, that's just, that's one of my favorite parts about it, that he wanted to get this, that it came from Cooper Flagg, from everything that we seen in the report on it and stuff. So, and it is like, I think it was just another reminder too of who this new Mavs regime is in a way of like, this is who met with him for that first dinner, with Nico and Rick Welts and Michael Finley and obviously Kidd and stuff. So this is new times. So this is where we're at. But it was cool. It was cool seeing all the details and the dinners, and even, I mean, Mike Curtis with the details on what he ordered and everything.
This is the best. Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News, shout out to our friend. Flagg ordered filet mignon, said Bob Samball, the founder of Bob's Steak and Chop. A 30-year institution in Dallas known for splitting its plates down the middle of the giant carrot. The party came in through the front door, spent about 2.5 hours dining, and left through the side door when the restaurant was full. Isaac, is Cooper Flagg stepping away from the challenge, not walking back through the front door, that he took the way out and went out the side door? You think he's cutting corners with the Mavs already?
I just respect Mike Curtis for shooting the message out there, getting a connection to the owner there, and asking for all the details on it. Like, hey, can you imagine that question? Can you tell me what he ordered? It's like, what? Yeah.
That's a classic reporter thing, though. That's a classic like journalism writing thing. Like, he sat there and chewed his filet mignon as he considered the question about his, like his humanity.
No, I love it. Yeah, I love it. It's just funny thinking about some of the like back and forth on that. Can you tell me what door they went out of and stuff? So, but no, that's fun. I did want to know what the logistics was of. All right, you have first dinner, but then there's a second one at
like hobbits.
Nick and Sam's with friends or with future teammates and stuff. I'm like, dang, is Nico fine with him consuming that much food?
Stop.
So I
did ask this question as soon as I heard all these reports, because Mark Stein also said impressive. That's all I keep hearing is I have to say the early rumbles I've heard, the shot looks pretty damn good. And he just said at every turn it was impressive. He was great. He's showed out in his workout and all that. What would have to happen for this to not go well? For them to not say glowing things about Cooper Flagg? Because the Mavs have really nothing to lose either. It's not like they're holding this up to say, all right, come and get this pick. Everybody, we're willing to trade this, so come in. We're going to prop him up as much as possible. It's not like they're doing that. They're just gassing him up for the fan base, I guess, and just for people in general, and for Cooper Flagg's probably ego and sense and all that. Like, what would have to happen? And the number one thing that people responded when I posted that was that Cooper Flagg orders a beer at dinner.
Oh,
in front of Michael Finley, which he's not even old enough to order a beer, by the way. But
I was saying, our guy here is about 3 years away from legally drinking, so which is insane to think about.
Well, honestly, though, what would have to happen for it to for them not to say glowing things about him in something?
I mean, if he was like, "Hey, waiter, can I get A1?"
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
like an A1. I'm frozen on my side, which is like a funny screenshot here of me hollering for A1. But A1 showing up in a Luka jersey.
That's what I said. He should just show up in a Luka shirt with like the 77 on the back.
Yeah, that would be.
Here's my thing that you're going to disagree with, but I think all the Texans out there that are listening will agree with this. I think they may think unfavorably of him if he orders his steak well done.
Oh. No, I mean, I don't want to we can argue about steak, but
what's your steak order?
Medium well. Come roast me. Don't care. Could care less. I'm not sitting here trying to take a bite of a cow before it's cooked. So
let's go. Give it to me medium rare, man. I want to be able to touch it and have some give.
Phrasing.
But everything in the visit went well. Everybody's talking about him glowingly. I'm glad that they're at this point, right? That they're at this point where it's just an inevitability. We're not sitting here questioning whether the Mavs are going to trade it. It's not, okay, who are the Mavs going to take? Who's going to be available for them? They don't have to worry about that. There's just literally no worry going into this thing next week. And Cooper Flagg is going to be a Dallas Maverick. He's made his visit. He's made an impression on the coaching staff and all that. Hopefully they got to know him pretty well. And they're set up really well for the next season. And so I think that's absolutely great. Love that this happened and everything went well and all that. I am though sitting here going, what would have to happen for it to not go well? It is one of those kind of events.
I mean, they have to, you got to soak every bit of this up if you're the Mavs, okay? Because you got to get, this is the shift in PR here.
Free PR.
You got to
right
get
here.
the visit in. You got to let all the stuff leak from it. They're hosting the draft party at American Airlines Center, bringing people in for it, and just this whole huge party type of thing. So, and you got to consist. I mean, and that's just beginning. Like, once he gets to town, right after he gets drafted again, like, that's going to be a whole, like, they got to do it all up. They need it right now, and they're going to ride this wave as long as they can.
They will, and they'll keep doing it. And you know what? We'll keep eating it up too, because I'm okay eating it up. I'm okay that it's like, you know, PR and that they're coming out and saying this, because I think that they're not.
Great.
I don't think they're lying about this. I just think that it's another really great event thing that happened, and I think it's going to keep happening because Cooper Flagg is that guy, and he's that guy to the point where Sam Vecenie of The Athletic posted a ranking of the best prospects since 2015, and Cooper Flagg was on the list. We'll tell you where he ranked, which is wild. Coming up. Guru, car shopping should be exciting. You're getting a new car, a new vehicle, something to drive you around, get you from place to place. Shouldn't be exhausting, but confusing prices, hidden fees, it can feel overwhelming, just the amount of cars. I know if you live in DFW, there's so many places. I bought a car recently, and then you just are like, there's every single place I could possibly imagine to buy a car out here. That's why I love Car Guru. They help you cut through the noise and show you the best deals with full confidence. They have over 4 million listings that you can look through. They have more new and used cars than any other major online marketplace in the U.S. They verify dealers. They provide real price analysis. They give you tools and data that you need to make the right choice. You can also do the compare side by side. And if they have over 4 million and you can also compare, that means it gives you all the tools that you need to make the right choice. They also have the price drop alert. So if you see something that you like, but you're like, I don't know about the price, put an alert on there. They'll send it when it goes down, all that stuff. It's no wonder SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows Car Guru is the #1 most visited car shopping site. Buy or sell your next car today with Car Guru at carguru.com. Go to carguru.com. Make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's CARGURUS.com. Carguru.com.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. Being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. We appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show and listening. We have the text line, 214-643-8637 is the line where you can get rumors from everything that we hear, everything that we're seeing, and every rumor that I read from anywhere. I'll text it to you. I'll give you my thoughts on it early. Isaac will do Q&As, do all kinds of stuff on that. It also helps support the show, so subscribe to that. There's a link in the description. It's called Subtext. So click that in the description, and it helps support the show as well. All right, Isaac, we're talking about Cooper Flagg's pre-draft visit. And it went well. It was impressive by all accounts. Also, his jump shot looked impressive. And that's another thing in this, that one of his big questions going into his freshman year was how good his jump shot looks. And so this is still kind of a work in progress. He went from, like 30% at the beginning of the year, then went to like 44% from 3 during a stretch of his first season at Duke. And that jump shot is something that is really going to be something the Mavs need early. They need shooting, and they need that guy to be good. If he's going to play the 3 that for them especially, to start, that needs to be good. And so for them to say that his jump shot looked really good, again, I don't think that they would say it was bad, but for them to specifically mention that, I think was a good thing.
It's like, sources say that his elbow came out just a little too much on that.
He's got a hitch in his shot that they didn't have before.
Caleb Martin was in there working out with. So you could go back to like some of his high school stuff and see, the difference in his shot then compared to towards the end of the season or even the tournament and stuff at Duke. And you could kind of see some of the mechanic stuff changing on it. But yeah, I'm really anxious to see what that looks like. And it's probably going to be a bit before we see it. But
Summer League.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So we got a few weeks.
We'll see it there. Sam Vecenie had this ranking of the best prospects since 2015 when he first started really intensely scouting. And he does this by going through and saying, all right, here are the guys that I think are the best, prospects out there. And he has like a grading system that he does. He goes through them all, and he's like, all right, these are the best ones that came out of my grading system since then. Victor Wembanyama was #1. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. Cooper Flagg came in #2. The best prospect he's graded since Victor Wembanyama and since 2015. And so you can think about how many players before the 2015 were even better than Cooper Flagg. But it said a lot to me about Cooper Flagg because there's been a lot of talk about, well, he's just good at a lot of things and he's not really elite at anything. And is he going to come in and is he going to really be an all-star? Does he have that ceiling? He's a better prospect coming in than Zion Williamson, then Cade Cunningham, then Ben Simmons, then DeAndre Ayton, like some of these #1 picks. DeAndre Ayton went before Luka. Like think about how good DeAndre Ayton must have been as a prospect to go ahead of Luka. And I just think I thought that was interesting, impressive, and it just reminded me of how good of a prospect Cooper Flagg is coming in. The Mavs aren't just getting just a number one pick that's going to end up being, Zachary Richelet. He's going to be a great player, could make an all-star or something, but Cooper Flagg's just on a different level as a prospect.
Yeah, Vicini, his article on Athletic, the way he ranked him was prospects coming into the draft.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything about what they've turned into, anything, now. It was purely looking back at the last 10 years, looking back at all of his notes and how he felt about each prospect. And it's like, where does he stack up on that? And it's crazy when you start thinking about them, about some other players in there, because obviously Luka's in there. Luka's in that.
It was a lot lower than I expected, but
yeah, because he admits, he's like, I was wrong. I had DeAndre Ayton higher than Luka on that, but like Cade Cunningham, obviously with that, and Towns and Ben Simmons, which Towns coming out of Kentucky. I mean, that was a crazy team that he was on. Only lost one game there, and but no, for me, it hasn't been that much of a debate of like Cooper versus Zion of who's the best Duke prospect or better prospect. I don't think it's a debate. I just think he's a better overall prospect than Zion. The real what separates him from Wemby, and I mean, I just feel like Wemby's an alien, and like you just can't. He's kind of like a Monstar, so you can't really compare him to a Monstar.
We were talking about this before. Cooper Flagg is 7 inches shorter than Victor Wembanyama. Like that is such a big, over half a foot difference. That is such a massive difference that even if Cooper Flagg was the exact same level of basketball player as Victor Wembanyama, just that size makes it like if you've ever played against somebody bigger than you, just how much size difference matters. It's wild. He's just an alien unicorn. All the words we can say about Wembanyama.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said size matters. So
I didn't, but you did.
No, you said size matters.
I implied that it did.
I'm just worried. When you look at, I was thinking about some of these prospects and playing in the finals, and even just watching the Pacers and Halliburton, and it's just tough. With Halliburton with that strained calf. Oh. What shape is he in? Like, is he? Is he eating right? I don't know what the Pacers and stuff are feeling about that.
We don't have to do this anymore. We don't have to do this. We don't have to make this joke anymore.
I was just thinking out loud. Since it was a calf injury, I just didn't know if he was taking conditioning and everything really serious. But back to this. I forgot when looking at these rankings, because I think some people might be looking like, oh my gosh, Cooper Flagg, like you're a little too high on this. You got to remember too, like yeah, well, like you got to remember, like, yes, Luka is way down on this. I think Luka's the biggest one on this list. I'm like, dang, like you really had not just DeAndre Ayton, but you had all of these other guys above him as far as like going into the draft. But yeah, man, it just shows you how good Cooper Flagg is. For the amount of people who are like, dude, get off. Like, we're so tired of Cooper Flagg stuff. It's like, dude, no, he's that good, and the Mavericks are going to get a player that good. It's one of the best prospects that has ever come out of college basketball. And he could have, and we were, less than 2 weeks away from, he changed classes, to move up to this class. So they were about 2 weeks away from missing out on him if he didn't reclassify. So, thank you, Cooper.
Stein mentioned if he was born 11 days earlier, he wouldn't have been, or if he was born 11 days later, he wouldn't have been able to reclassify.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be in this draft.
There you go.
It's like, what? Absolutely insane. All right, coming up, Jrue Holiday. Jake Fisher mentioned that the Mavs are connected to Jrue Holiday. Should the Mavs be connected to him? What are they thinking going after Jrue Holiday? We'll try to figure that out. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Wayfair, they got just what you need no matter what kind of home or style you've got. And if you're trying to look for outdoor stuff, if you're trying to fill an outdoor space, I've been looking at some houses. You see all kinds of different patio spaces, porches, things like that, second-story porches. There's different kinds of things you need for different kinds of spaces, and Wayfair has everything you need to set up your outdoor space and level it up. Conversation sets, outdoor bars, fire pits, hot tubs, gazebo. They have hot tubs at Wayfair. What does a hot tub run you at Wayfair? Maybe at wayfair.com. I can't imagine using a hot tub right now in Texas. But check out Wayfair. They have all kinds of stuff to make your backyard feel like that resort feel without the resort price tag. All kinds of great stuff on there. Fast, free, totally hassle-free delivery as well. I've used that myself. Can guarantee you that delivery is so much better than trying to shove something into the back of your car and get it home. Don't wait. Make your outdoor space your dream oasis today with Wayfair and enjoy it all summer long. Head to wayfair.com. Shop now. Huge outdoor selection. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. We'll be going all through the offseason. 5 days a week, sometimes more, doing bonus episodes, the One More Things, and all that. Subscribe. And subscribe to the audio feed. If you're listening on audio, we love you. We appreciate everyone listening on audio as well. If you're watching on KFAA, shout out to KFAA. We're on there 4:30 every single day. It's pretty awesome. And all that stuff. So, all right.
And if you're a first time watcher on YouTube, our setup normally looks better than this. So just giving you a heads up that this whole thing is, there's so many video things going wrong right now. But
they won't know because I'm going to edit this. But we're having some issues. We're having some issues for sure on our end. But yeah, so all right, let's talk about Jrue Holiday. Jake Fisher was on a Bleacher Report stream. I sent it in text on the text line. And he said 2 teams I've heard that have been connected to Jrue Holiday are Sacramento and Dallas. Jrue Holiday doesn't really make a lot of sense for me if I'm the Dallas Mavericks. He makes a lot of sense if Kyrie is healthy and if you have some contracts you want to get rid of and you want to dump and want to send to Boston. The Mavs don't have contracts that I want to dump right now. They have rotation players. Like all these trades we've come up with all through the summer have been all about, man, I just don't know if I want to get rid of that guy. I don't think I want to get rid of Gafford. I don't think I want to get rid of PJ. Oh, what about Najee and Caleb Martin? It's like, well, we haven't really seen what Caleb Martin can fully do. Oh, Najee Marshall played point guard. Is so versatile for the Mavs and added to their passion and all that stuff. I just don't want to get rid of some of these players. But you have to give up something to get something. And for Jrue Holiday, he's 35 years old. He's got 3 more years left on his contract. He's got like a $38 million player option in the last year where he's going to be 38 years old. I don't think he's going to turn that one down. And the Mavs would have to give up at least 3 rotation players in order to get Jrue Holiday. And for as good as he is defensively, he adds another championship player that would add some more to the team. He could play next to Kyrie. He could play without Kyrie. He could be that guard. He could be the playmaking guard the Mavs need. He can do some of that. And the Mavs could maybe compile enough playmaking between him, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington. Like they could compile enough of that to make it while Kyrie is out. But I just don't think he's the guy that the Mavs should go after. It would cost too much. He's too old at this point for me to really want to invest in that.
yeah, it's really tough because I love Jrue Holiday. And I mean, we've both have wanted him on the Mavs for years. So it's just really tough just the spot they're in now because I just don't think it works right now. Just with what they would have to give up. Okay, I'm trying to think of some type of deal to like throw at you here because he's at 30. That would make sense. Yeah, so he's 35 years old. He makes $32.4 million next year. And, I guess the idea for Boston is to try to save money. For Dallas, it's like for them, like if they're going to Dallas, then it's more about saving money after that because Dallas doesn't have, it's not like they have cap space you can just dump Jrue Holiday into. Yeah. So, if it's like Gafford and Klay for like Jrue and pick 28, I think I'm definitely getting something from Boston if I'm taking Jrue.
I'm going to say, the thing for me is if they had to throw in like a Peyton Pritchard with it, if the Mavs are getting something else that they need too. You get another
though? Aren't they a second apron?
Oh, it's true. They're a second apron team. Man, that's the other thing about this. There's so many restrictions. They can only send one player at a time. Or maybe you do it separate deals where you also send Najee for Peyton Pritchard in a different deal. That's
what I'm saying.
That's part of this Jrue Holiday, quote unquote.
I'm just definitely getting a pick. And then at that, so like, here's the thing. If Jrue Holiday was on this Mavericks team, I would love it. All right. Let's just take the deal out of it. If he was on the team, I would love it because he would be a great guy to have next to Kyrie. Imagine him with Kyrie in the backcourt and then Cooper, AD, and Lively. Like that's just so much fun there. But yeah, he is older. He didn't look the same in the playoffs. You're getting at least 2 more years after next year in the mid 30s there. So as far as $1 million, it's just tough and it's too rich for me, I think.
Yeah, so we're both against this, but why are the Mavericks connected to him? Like, why wouldn't they make the same assessment that we just made and say, yeah, no, we're good. Let's not go after Jrue Holiday.
Well, I mean, I think for the Mavs, it's like, I think I could be wrong in this, but I think if they didn't win the lottery to get Cooper Flagg, I feel like Dallas would be one of those teams for Kevin Durant right now, and so it's like. Because I think we've just heard so much about the window and what Nico wants to do in this window in these next 2 to 3 years. So I think if they're looking at it and they're like, all right, defense wins championships. Jrue Holiday plays defense. He's a vet. He has experience. Kind of the same reasons why you went and got Klay, except it's defense versus the shooting for Klay. So I'm just not trying to do I guess Boston would want PJ and Gafford because they're expiring contracts for Jrue. That's just tough. I'd just rather have PJ Washington right now instead of Jrue Holiday, and that sounds like ludicrous to say that.
I think if you're the Mavericks, you got to do your due diligence, and so you got to call about players. You got to know, and so to me, some of these rumors are like the Mavs called on it, just wanted to see what it would take. Maybe they thought, all right, if Boston is desperate enough, maybe it doesn't take as much as we think, and we can get him for not a lot, and maybe we get something back for it too because they think he's like a salary dump. So if I'm the Mavs, maybe I'm thinking that, and so then you check in on that, and then I don't know. It doesn't mean that they're calling him every day talking about Jrue Holiday. It could mean that they just checked in a couple times on it to see what it would cost and all that. So I don't know. I think that they also just need an offensive guard. They really need an offensive guard badly. That's why we talked about Colin Sexton yesterday. We talked about Kobe White a lot. He's the one that we've really focused on that the Mavs need. We talked about Chris Paul too. Like they need an offensive setup guy, and I just don't think Jrue Holiday's that guy either. And that's just another reason why I'm like, all right, this doesn't really give you what you need at this point. What the Mavs are.
I'll push back just a little bit. I do think he could be a setup guy and like a playmaking guy. I think he could do all that. Like if you're looking for somebody to step in,
he can do some, but you're not asking him to set up your offense. Like
I think he's better at it than
They didn't even do that when he was in Milwaukee and playing the point guard.
But I think he's better at it than like a Dinwiddie or a Colin Sexton or something like that. Like I think they're more scoring types. Drew's more of like, hey, let me play defense, hit some threes, but set up some guys and stuff too. That's why it's like Dallas's perspective. Like I'd see it. Like I think he would be a great vet guy to fill in for Kyrie until Kyrie comes back, and then he could play with Kyrie. Like I get all of that. I see that. It's just the contract and age as it's like.
So if your starting lineup to start next year is Jrue Holiday, Max Christie, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Lively, how confident are you in that team? You feel good about that team to score and create offense?
I like it pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know if I'm probably starting PJ over Max Christie though.
You start Flagg you really just go all in and start Flagg at the 2?
Well, I guess PJ would have to be in the deal.
Not necessarily. I put Klay.
I'm starting Klay then.
I was gonna say in that hypothetical one, I kind of put Klay in it.
Oh. Well, one of them, PJ or Klay, is starting over Max Christie.
So you go Jrue Holiday, Cooper Flagg, PJ Washington, Anthony Davis, and Lively.
I think we're gonna see that at times, and it's more of like
it's gonna start.
I think we get too wrapped up on Yoda here. I think we're getting too wrapped up on positions. Like I think the 2-guard thing is kind of like out of hand because it's like it's more of just wings, bigs, and guards. Like it's not a.
Well, he would be a guard. He would be like, all right, you're tasking him with this. Those are the things that I've talked about with him. It's like, all right, you're running some offense. You've got to stretch the floor like that. Yeah, that has to be something that you do, and you got to guard. Also, you got to guard smaller players.
Yeah, it's more. I should have said it's like more like bigs, wings, and point guards, and. Yeah, that's where I'm not a fan of him playing the quote unquote 2-guard. I think he should be a 3 or a 4. But if you're throwing guys out there and you're playing against a team and he can guard the other 2-guard and then he's just playing the wing, like I think it's just interchangeable at that point, like who you're calling the 2, PJ or Cooper if they're on the wing on offense and all this stuff. So I don't know. I think the 2-guard stuff is talked about a little bit too much, but It's more about defensively. Who's the guy out there? And that's where I wouldn't mind it too much if it was Jrue. because Jrue can take the point of attack guy and the point guards on the other teams to where you can get away with a Cooper or PJ at the 2 and stuff at that point. So I don't know.
Talked about it a lot because the coach specifically mentioned it unprompted that he would play some 2 sometimes.
Jason Kidd has said a lot of different things. Okay, that I mean, knowing Kidd, he probably just said it just to get everybody talking and laughing about it. I mean, come on.
Do you think he saw
this.
he saw the show I did the other day and was like, got him. He's talking about it.
Honestly, there's a decent chance. We know some past episodes of, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm done now.
So Jrue Holiday, maybe you think differently than us. Let us know. Comments on
out.
YouTube.
Yeah, I want to make it clear
media.
that I'm out on trading for him. I just like him as a guy. And if for some reason he did end up on the Mavs, like I could easily talk myself into him.
Yep, absolutely. Come back tomorrow. We'll have more. We'll be talking more about the Mavs and all that, guys. Check the text line, link in the description to subscribe to that. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.